Nearly 40 meters beneath one of India's most dangerous tidal waterways, sonar detected geometric shapes stretching across the seabed. Researchers later recovered pottery-like fragments, worked stones, bones, teeth, and a piece of wood dated to approximately 9,500 years ago. If all of that material came from one settlement, it could transform our understanding of early civilization. But the objects were not excavated from intact buildings. They were dredged from powerful currents capable of moving material across the seabed. So did scientists discover a city older than history, or a collection of unrelated clues assembled into an irresistible story. The Gulf of Khambhat, formerly called the Gulf of Khambhat, cuts deep into the western coast of India, between the Saurashtra Peninsula and mainland Gujarat. Several major rivers, including the Narmada, Tapti, Mahi, and Sabarmati, drain toward the Gulf. This is not a calm tropical lagoon. It is a highly energetic environment shaped by enormous tides, heavy sediment, and powerful currents. The researchers who first reported the anomalies described tidal ranges reaching approximately 12.5 meters and currents of up to 8 knots. The water is heavily silted, visibility is poor, and sand formations can move across the seabed. For archaeology, that creates a serious problem. A wall, road, or foundation cannot be confirmed merely because an image looks geometric. Researchers must see how it connects to surrounding layers, recover objects from known positions, and establish whether materials were placed by people or transported there by rivers, tides, and geological change. In the Gulf of Khambhat, the very forces that may have submerged an ancient landscape also make that landscape extremely difficult to interpret. In 2000, India's National Institute of Ocean Technology was conducting offshore surveys in the Gulf. The original mission was not to search for a lost civilization. Researchers were using technologies such as side-scan sonar, sub-bottom profiling, and multi-beam echo sounding for marine and environmental work. During those surveys, they detected unusual geometric patterns. Repeated scans identified features near what appeared to be an ancient river channel more than 9 kilometers long. The anomalies lay roughly 20 kilometers west of Hazira, at water depths of approximately 20 to 40 meters. Researchers described rectangular basement-like forms ranging from about 5 by 5 meters to 15 by 15 meters, with some rising 2 to 3 meters above the surrounding seabed. On sonar, the patterns appeared organized. Some seemed positioned on either side of the buried channel. Others appeared beneath layers of sediment. The images inspired an extraordinary possibility. Could this be the footprint of a settlement constructed beside a river when the Gulf was dry land? Sea levels were lower during the end of the last ice age, and landscapes now submerged beneath continental shelves were once exposed. A geological study argued that a western Indian sea level curve placed the shoreline roughly 30 to 40 meters below its present position around 9,500 years ago, similar to the depth at which the anomalies were reported. The ancient landscape was real. What remained uncertain was whether the sonar had revealed human architecture. To investigate the sonar targets, the National Institute of Ocean Technology collected samples using grab samplers, dredges, and sediment cores. The team reported beads, pottery-like fragments, hearth material, worked stone objects, bones, teeth, and perforated stones. Researchers also recovered a piece of carbonized wood measuring approximately 30 centimeters by 15 centimeters. Laboratories in Hyderabad and Hanover produced calibrated dates of roughly 9,500 years before the present. That date was real evidence about the wood. But radiocarbon dating answers only one question. When did the organism stop exchanging carbon with the atmosphere? It does not automatically reveal who used the wood, prove that it was part of a house, date a nearby sonar image, or demonstrate that every object dredged from the area is the same age. The wood may have come from a human structure. It may also have come from a tree that grew beside an ancient river before rising seas flooded the landscape. A submerged forest can contain very old wood without containing a city. To establish a 9,500-year-old settlement, archaeologists would want the dated material recovered from a secure cultural layer. For example, a hearth inside a documented dwelling surrounded by tools and occupation debris. The Khambhat wood was not recovered in that kind of controlled architectural context. Public retellings quickly expanded cautious scientific language. The anomalies became streets, buildings, reservoirs, a granary, a citadel, and an entire city older than Mesopotamia and the Indus civilization. But the jump from sonar anomaly to urban settlement required evidence that had not yet been obtained. No diver had mapped a recognizable wall block by block. No doorway had been excavated. No intact house floor had been exposed. Critics also raised questions about the recovered objects themselves. Natural processes can produce objects that resemble tools. River movement breaks stone, pressure creates sharp edges, and marine organisms bore into rock. An object shaped by nature but mistaken for a human artifact is called a geofact. Even when an object is genuinely human-made, context still matters. A real scraper dredged near a sonar anomaly does not necessarily prove that the anomaly is a building. It proves human activity occurred somewhere within the material's possible transport history. Because many objects were dredged rather than recovered through controlled excavation, their precise relationships were disturbed or lost. That weakness became the central argument against the lost city claim. The Archaeological Survey of India's Underwater Archaeology Wing emphasizes documentation, systematic exploration, excavation, and protection of underwater cultural heritage. At Dwarka, trained archaeologists and Navy divers documented structural remains, produced drawings and photographs, and recovered artifacts from defined investigations. The survey's public fieldwork summary discusses underwater work at Dwarka, Mahabalipuram, and Elephanta Island. It does not list the Gulf of Khambhat as a confirmed excavated ancient city. That absence does not demonstrate that the National Institute of Ocean Technology's interpretation is wrong, but it suggests the Khambhat claim has not achieved the same official archaeological standing as sites where structures and artifacts were systematically documented in context. The most defensible conclusion is that researchers detected unusual seabed features associated with a submerged ancient landscape. That landscape once contained river channels and dry land. Materials indicating human activity may be present within the wider area. Some artifacts could be prehistoric. The ancient wood confirms that old organic material survived beneath the Gulf, but the evidence does not yet prove that all these discoveries belong to one settlement, or that the sonar shapes are human-made architecture. Is there a 9,000-year-old city beneath India's Gulf of Khambhat? The honest answer is that it has not been proven. What has been established is that sonar detected unusual patterns near submerged river channels. Researchers recovered materials interpreted as artifacts and hearth debris, and a piece of carbonised wood was dated to approximately 9,500 years before the present. Geology confirms that land now beneath the Gulf was exposed when sea levels were lower. Those facts make the location important, but they do not yet form a city. The objects were not recovered from a single, undisturbed urban layer. The dated wood was not conclusively attached to a building. The sonar shapes were not excavated as streets, houses, or monuments. Perhaps people once lived beside that vanished river. Perhaps traces of their homes remain sealed beneath the sediment. Perhaps future technology will reveal a settlement far older than archaeologists expected, or perhaps the proposed city is a visual illusion created when natural formations, transported artifacts, and one ancient piece of wood were connected too quickly. The mystery is not that scientists found nothing, they found something. The mystery is whether those discoveries belong to one forgotten civilization or to thousands of years of history mixed together beneath a restless sea. If you enjoyed this investigation, subscribe to Mysterious Crime, like this video, share it with someone who loves documentaries, and turn on notifications so you never miss our next investigation. Every mystery has a story.